So what's appearing on the screen?
So it's like flickering, sir, sometimes.
Oh, it's not getting loaded. Okay, I'll see. Okay. You must grant permission in order to screen share. What is that? Uh, Can't share your screen. Napa, has somebody played something with my Gmail today? Yeah. Have you got it now? Can one of you respond? Have you got the
No,
screen
sir.
now? Packet tracer screen?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No. Okay. So please allow me. Let me restart my machine. So kindly start the screen share. Okay, friends, I'm back. I will see whether I'm able to share the screen now. Is it visible now? My packet tracer screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for your patience. I sincerely apologize for the technical issue which I faced. I hope things will be okay henceforth. And also thanks for your support as usual. Right. So today's session, as I promised you, it's going to be very lighter session. We are going to look into the reason for the necessity of learning the routing protocol. All right. Very simple one. Let's go ahead. For that, I'm going to use very similar to our earlier cases. I'm going to use a router, right? And probably I use one more router here for the time being. I may not use it at present. We know about this, how we are going to connect these routers and switches. But anyway, for the completion's sake, I will talk about them, right? I'll take some pieces. All right. This is going to be very, very simple topology. Yeah, I will have them this way. And I'm also going for automatically choose connection type. I fully assume that you guys are expert in this because you have done a lot of laboratory exercises on that or experiments on that. So with that assumption, I have gone little fast, right? So I hope you did not face any trouble on that. All right. Now what's happening? We have got three networks on screen. I can name them for you to easily identify. I call this as LAN A, and I call this as LAN B, and I also call this as wide area network A. You also know the reason why it is called as wide area network. All right, so I go little bigger, little more. Okay, this could be easy for you to recognize the font as well. All right, and I'm also going to give them the IP addresses. Again, to remember them, I'm going to give for LAN A our very famous 1.0/24. And for LAN B, probably I would give 168 2.0/24. For wide area network, I give 192.168 3.0/24. Right? I also assume that you don't face any trouble so far. What have I done? I have taken two routers. Both the routers are connected through a WAN link through the serial interface. And one of the routers on the left hand side is connected with the local area network A, and the other router on the right hand side is connected with local area network B, LAN B. All right. Right. So this is a simple setup which I have made, and I also intend to give 192.168.10 for the LAN A, and 192.168.20. I think I have to correct it. It is 20 for LAN B and 30 for LAN. This is also typo. 30 for WAN. All right. So let's start assigning IP address for LAN A. I have gone to the PC and I go and assign IP address to that, and I give 192.168.11, and the subnet mask is assigned by default, and I also give 192.168.1.254 as the mask, and you also know the reason why I give 254, right? Uh, okay, close, open the other machine, go to the desktop, go to ipconfig. I give 192.168.1.2 with the default gateway 254, right? So what has happened so far? I have assigned IP to these two machines, let's say PC0 and PC1. And similarly, I'm going to assign to the router's fast Ethernet interface as well. Probably I'll use the command line interface. I'm very comfortable with that. Okay, enable. I go to config T. For the interface FA00, I'm going to give IP address 192.168.1.254 because that acts as the default gateway, and also give no shutdown. Right? And I also, for safety, I copy the running configuration to startup configuration so that even if I reload the router, these configurations will be available. Now you have got this link has become amber, which indicates that this switch is still getting ready. In Packet Tracer, you have a shortcut. Just click simulation and runtime 2 3 times. This will become automatically green. Okay, this is the Easter egg which you can get in Packet Tracer. Wherever you go, if it is in amber color, many a times you switch between simulation and real time quickly like this. You can see that becoming the green color if there is no trouble with the physical connection, right? Now, how can I go to the next level? What am I going to demonstrate to you is sending a packet from this machine to this machine or vice versa and find out whether the packet goes to the router and come back. For that, I move to the simulation and I also go and edit the filter to see only ICMP packets. We have learned it in the previous class. The usage of ICMP packet, Internet Control Message Protocol, mainly used in the ping commands, right? Okay, so I go to this machine. All right, so from this machine, I go to the command prompt. I try pinging the other machine 192.168.1.2. Yeah, so pinging is on progress, and I allow this to go. Allow this to go. You can see I go to the tools, probably options, preference. I go and see the animation here because the animation is not visible. Then only you can easily see that. So I reduce the speed also a little bit. Okay, now you can see the packet is moving. All right, now you know it is type 8 code 0. The response is going to be type 0 code 0. You know that, right? Echo reply. I allow this packet to go, and then, right, now you have seen on the screen what has happened. These machines were pinging each other. They never disturbed the router. So the first rule which we learn from this is when you have your target machine is in your local area network, you are not going to use the default gateway. Okay, default gateway is there, but for the communication among the machines in the local area network, router is not disturbed. You got it? All right. Now, when is the router disturbed? When you have the target IP address, which is not in your local area network. I repeat, when you have the target network, which is not in your local area network, then the packet is forwarded to the default gateway, right? So now to show that, I'll start assigning IP to this. Before assigning, I can see what happens if I send a packet to some unknown IP address, okay, which is supposed to be from other network, maybe 2.1. Okay, what happens? The packet is ready. It goes to the switch. Where is the packet supposed to go? It has to go to the router. It is sent to the router, but unfortunately the router is dropping the packet. We can see why it is dropping the packet. We know the reason, but you just see on the outer layer the routing table does not have a route to the destination IP address. It says, boss, I do not know where 2.1 is existing. Hence, the device drops the packet. It also sends ICMP host unreachable message. All right. So, what is ICMP host unreachable message code? Type 8 code 0. And again, it says, I'm sorry, I can. This is inbound. I'm sorry. I think probably I should open this, the outbound PDU. It is type 3 code 1. Okay. Destination host unreachable message is type 3 code 1 is getting ready, and that message comes back to the sending device. All right, it accepts it. Now you have visualized what happens when you send a packet which is not belonging to your local area network. It takes, it reaches the default gateway thinking that somehow he will help me to reach the destination. But unfortunately, in the scenario which we have got, this packet could not reach the destination with the sole reason that the router is not having a route to the destination. All right, let's see. Let's progress. Let's go to the LAN B and start assigning IP address to this and see how LAN B is behaving. That is also going to behave almost in the same way. So this is the IP I have assigned. I go to the real time. For this, I give 2.1. 2.254. and I also go to the router's fast Ethernet interface. It's just a repetition of what I have done already. Interface FA00, and I also give IP address 192.168.2.254 with the mask. Also give no shutdown. I said this is still in amber color. You can go to simulation in real time. It will soon become green. All right, right. Now it has become green. All right. All right. So what shall I do? Let's see whether these two machines are able to ping each other. That is going to happen in the same way of this. All right. So when you are attempting to ping, they are going to ping to each other. But from 2.1 or 2.2, if you want to attempt to connect with 1.1 or 1.2, you are going to face the same trouble of what was existing. Right. So what shall you do that? All right. We'll see what could be the next step. The next step is I wanted to demonstrate one more case here before I go to the next step. What I do, I'm going to introduce another router here just to increase the interest. And I also go for a switch, and I also go for a PC, and I connect them. No, I'm not going to use the router here. Let that sleep over there, and I'm going to connect this, right? This machine is going to be given 4.0. Okay, I don't need this router now. Right. So this network is again newly introduced just now for our understanding, and I give 192.168.4.0 network with the mask 24. Right. So I give this machine 4.1. How should I give? Yeah, here 192.168.4.1, and I give 4.254. 4.254, right? And I go to the router fast Ethernet 10, interface fast Ethernet 10, IP address 192.168.4.254 with the mask. And I also give no shutdown. Okay, and okay, we'll make it green. Yeah, it has become green. So from this mission, let me check quickly whether I can ping the default gateway 192.168.4.254. Is it pinging? Yes, it's pinging. So that is working. Now, please understand what's happening here. I'm not going to connect this. So for making it little easy, what I do, I remove this cable, and I'm also not going to show this, right? What is this? Why have I disconnected? That's okay. We can connect it. What has happened now? There are two different networks here. Okay, this is one local area network LAN A with the router connected. Here again we have got a LAN B. We also have got another LAN called LAN C. Right. So that LAN C is here. Right, and that is following 4.0 network. Right. Now look at the connection between this LAN and this LAN. In other words, the connection between LAN B and C is different from the connection between LAN A and LAN B. What's the difference? Here you look at LAN B and C, they both are connected to the same network, same router. Whereas in the earlier case, the LAN A and LAN B were connected through a WAN link. Did you remember? Do you remember that? I have just disconnected that. All right. So what happens? A packet from LAN A has to make 2 hops to reach the destination if it is in LAN B. But whereas the machines between LAN B and C have to make only 1 hop. For instance, if this machine has to connect with this machine, they have to only make 1 hop, right? So this is the fundamental difference between the earlier case and the current case, right? Now, have we done any configuration in this router except assigning IP address? No. We only assigned IP address. All right, one is 2.254, the other one is 4.254. That's all we have done. We haven't done any other routing configuration. All right, with that assumption or with that configuration, shall we see whether we are able to ping 192.168.1.4? It says destination host unreachable. Why is it saying destination host unreachable? What did I do? 192. Okay, I'm sorry. Ping 192.168.4.1. Okay, I gave a wrong IP. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm giving 192.168.4.1. So where is 4.1 existing? 4.1 is here. All right. So from this machine, I pinged this. We'll go and check this in the real simulation as well. The same thing. We'll go to command prompt. I give the same command. I go to the side. I allow this. The packet goes here, packet goes here, goes there, and you get the response. And you will get the first ping response on your screen. Yes, that's fine. That's enough. We have learnt about this. All right. So this is the second rule. Okay. When you have a packet which is belonging to other network, when you send it to the router, which is the default gateway, the second rule is the default gateway the default gateway is the router here. Okay. This router will forward the packet to the destination if it is directly connected. What does it mean? It means network 192.168.2.0 and 4.0, they both are directly connected to this router. That is why they are called as directly connected network. We also can visualize that. So I go to the router, um, and I also give a command, show IP route. Show IP route command will fetch me the routing table of the existing in the router. In other words, it's called forwarding table, which we have started learning. Right. So it says 192.168.2.0 and 4.0 are directly connected. Okay. C means connected network. So now we have learned the third point or the third rule, irrespective of the configuration of routing protocol, the routers update its routing table about the connected networks by default. I repeat, whether you configure the routing protocol or not, the connected network information will be fetched and populated in your routing table. All right, so this is the third one which we have learned today. Similarly, we also can check this router whether it has got any connected network here. I go to enable. So show IP route. Sorry for the spelling. Show IP route. Now this router is connected to only one network. Hence, it has got 192.168.10/24, which is a directly connected network. All right. So the third rule is, what was the first rule? When you have the packet to be sent to your destination, and the destination is also part of your local area network, you are not going to disturb your default route at all. Okay. Second one, when you have the packet to be sent to the network where the target IP is not belonging to your network, it has to be sent to the default gateway. Third one, the routers are forwarding the data directly to the machines if they are in the connected network. All right. It also has a sub point that the connected network information are populated into the routing table without the intervention of anyone, for that matter, without the intervention of any routing protocol at all. All right. Now we will go to the first one which we have deleted, which I have deleted. So I connect these two using the WAN link. Okay, I go for wide area network link. I have got serial interfaces. So I go to this router and I assign IP address to the serial interface. We also gave, I think, 3.0, if you remember correctly, 192.168.3.0/24. Okay, that's what we gave for this WAN. All right, so I go to this router. I'm going to assign IP address. So what should be the command? I should give the configuration. Yes, I'm going to configure from the terminal. Yeah, I should give interface serial 20. where I should assign the IP address. So I should go for the command IP address 192.168. Probably I give 331 with the mask, and I should not forget to give node shutdown. And because this is a DTE side, how can you say whether it is a DTE side or not? You can use the command show IP interface serial 20. Whether this works, I don't know. Whether we'll see whether it works. Yeah, it works. There is a command. If you already use this command, leave it. Otherwise, you can explore that. Okay. So this is about IP interface serial 20. Okay. It talks about what is its IP broadcast address and MTU. You can see the maximum transfer unit command. Okay. What else can we see? Does it talk about DT or DCE? Okay, that is not shown. So we can do show IP. We have protocols. Um, show IP protocols. Serial 20. Does it work? Okay, that doesn't work. Okay, show IP interface. Okay, that's what we have seen already. All right, so I'm not able to recall the specific command which will help us to find out whether the interface is DT or DTE. I can probably try one more command. Show IP interface brief. Does it help me to understand? No, that also doesn't help me to understand. Okay, well, no bother. We'll go to serial interface 20 and we have to give clock rate there. So config interface serial 20. Let me give clock rate 64,000. I have given it. I close it comfortably. I go to serial 20 here, this router, config terminal, interface serial 20. I give IP address 192.168, 3.2 with the mask. I give no shutdown. No problem. I can give clock rate here, but it's not going to accept because the clock rate has to be given only at the DTE DCE side, not on the DTE side. So it will say clock rate has to be configured on DCE side. Okay, all right. So this command applies only to DCE interface. So whether you give it or not, it gives you a warning that it's not going to take it up. Right. Let us check whether they are able to ping each other 192.168, 3.1. Oh, I mean the simulation. I go to the real time. Yeah, it's pinging. We try once again. Okay, it's pinging. From this mission, we'll see whether we are able to ping 192.168.3.2. It's pinging. All right. Irrespective of whether you have been listening to me or not so far, now it's the time I want you to please listen to me. Okay. So if you are doing any WhatsApping or keeping the status now in your WhatsApp, please stop it for a while. Listen to me. All right, switch off any TV if it is running parallel, or if you are talking, or if you are in the ration shop. Please stop for a while and listen to this for another 10 minutes or 15 minutes. That will really help you, right? So we are getting into a very important time, right? So I am here in this machine, okay, which is having the IP address 192.168.2.1, right? And this router has got two interfaces, of course three, but we'll concentrate on two. One is 3.1, that is 3.2. The other one is 2.254. Okay. Now please remember, please follow what I'm trying to do. This router's WAN interface has got the IP 192.168.3.2. Okay. And this router's WAN IP has got 192.168.3.1. You are noticing that, you are witnessing that. All right. I also would write it here so that you will not forget 192.168.3.1 is the IP here. 192.168 3.2 is the IP here. Okay, so this is this IP, this is IP. Now, if I ask you a question whether 3.1 and 3.2 belong to the same network, you will certainly say yes. Yes, answer is right. It is in a WAN connection. All right. where 192.168.3.1 and 3.2 are belonging or part of this WAN having the network address 192.168.3.0. All right, you all agree with that? Yes. So what am I going to do? I am here in this machine with the IP 2.1. So I go to 2.1 and I go to the command prompt. All right, from the command prompt, I give a command to ping 192.168.3.2. Where is 3.2? 3.2 is here, right? I give the ping command. Are you getting a reply? Yes, you are getting the reply. And it says there is 0% loss. All right, all the packets whatever sent have been received, your ping is successful. All right, now in the next step, I'm going to check whether in the same machine, where am I am in this PC2. Okay, from this PC I'm going to see whether I can ping 192.168.3.1. right, instead of 3.1 3.2 I'm going to ping 3.1. Instead of this interface I'm going to ping this interface. Please remember, they both are in the same network. We'll wait. I'll wait. It's timeout still. Okay, last message, let it give the positive reply. No, nothing, we haven't got the response, right? Whatever is sent has got no response. All right, four are sent, received are zero. Okay, all the four packets are lost. It says 100% loss. Where have we gone wrong? To understand that, let us move to the simulation mode. Do the same thing again. I go to the same route machine. I'm going to give the same command, right? 3.1. Whether the ping packet is right? Yes, it is ready. Does it go in the correct way? Yes, sir. It goes in the correct way. It goes in the correct way. And notice it. What happens to the packet? It goes there, and there is a trouble. All right. So here there is a trouble. This router is facing a trouble. All right. This is very, very crucial. This is very, very crucial. Right. And let's open this packet and see and make a small analysis. What has gone wrong? All right. Go to the outlier. The ICMP process replies to the echo request by setting the ICMP type to echo response. All right. So you can see that it is type 0, code 0. That is the echo response. We know that echo reply. The ICMP process sends the echo reply. Okay. Device makes the data ready. All these are ready. Look at the sixth and seventh point carefully. That will give you the answer. The device looks up the destination IP address in the routing table. I repeat, I'm just reading it on the screen. The device, which device? The router which has just dropped the packet, looks up the destination IP address in its routing table. Next point, the routing table does not have a route to the destination IP address, hence the packet is dropped. Is it true, sir? Is it true? Is it is not having a packet? We can check that. Show IP route will reveal that. Is it true? Yes. What is the destination address when the packet is getting a response? What is the destination address? We can consult that. Destination IP is 192.168.2.1. Please read it. 192.168.2.1. All right. Whether this router has got entry to 2.1? No, it has got entry to only 1 and 3. It is not having an entry to 2.0. Did you notice that? All right. Now, do you remember that this packet was making its way to the destination, but it is not making its way back to the initiator, right? Did you notice that? That is something tricky. All right. This is the fourth lesson you should learn from this. A forward route does not mean that a reverse route is existing. I repeat, a forward route or the existence of one way does not guarantee you the existence of reverse. That is what we have just seen, right? From here, the packet made its way to this router. Perfect. Onward journey is perfect. But unfortunately, this router does not have a route to the destination. All right. Remember, in the same WAN, we were able to ping 3.2, but not 3.1. The reason is 3.2 is part of your network as well, and also this router, and also this network. Whereas this router does not belong to you, it's a remote router for you. All right, when you have, when you deal with the remote router, you should ensure that a path is existing from that remote router to you. Hope you have got this point. So how can we solve this? This is where we have our routing protocols, right? Hope I have convinced you the necessity of having the routing protocol, right? The routing protocol could be static routing protocol or any of the dynamic routing protocol based on the requirement and the suitability. Okay, people normally claim that dynamic routing protocols are always best, not the static routing. That may be true to some extent, but static routing has its own advantage on certain areas. All right, so today's class I'm not going to because the time is also going to be over. Let's finish this the complication, the trouble which you have faced. Our objective is that 3.1 has to be connected by this 2.1. Okay, that's what our objective. Eventually 1.1 also is to be connected. How can we solve it? For that, I go and take this static routing. Okay, I'm not going to go for a dynamic routing now. I'm going to go for a static routing so that you will understand what happens. All right, now what is the trouble? This router, we have got a router called with the IP address 3.1. um, okay, it has got the routing table having only two entries. But how many entries do we have? How many networks do we have? One, uh, two, three, and four. There are four networks existing in this topology, but this router has got knowledge about only two networks which are connected. All right, what are all missing? 2.0 and 4.0 are missing. All right, now you are here. How will you reach 2.0 and 4.0 network? If you want to send a packet from here to 2.0 or 4.0, don't you think that the packet has to be forwarded here? All right, simple. That is what we are going to teach this fellow. All right, so the command is very simple. You know that, but it is, I'm just repeating it. So it is IP route. What's the target address? I go for 192.168.20 with the mask 255.255.255.0, and I also give exit interface as 20. And which is the other one? No, not this. Which is the other? Okay. Where is it? Okay, I give IP route 192.16, which is missing. 4.0 is missing, right? So 4.0 with the mask. Again, this also has to be pushed towards this. So I give the command do show IP route to see whether the route is existing now. Yes, you have got two connected networks, two static routing. So I have configured using static routing command. So two are existing with static route. Is it all over? Shall we check now whether any improvement happens with that? Because the request is always timed out earlier. Why there is a trouble? We'll go to real time. All right. Did you see earlier 3.1 it was saying timeout, but once you are configured it says reply, but you can check. All right. Okay. So what are we going to do now? From this machine, we'll see whether we are able to talk to 1.2. Okay, same machine will take 1.2. So I give ping 192.168.1.2. It says destination host unreachable. We'll see there is one more packet is to come. Is it no? The request timed out. So now some confusion is still there. What could be the trouble? We'll go to simulation mode and check that up. Yeah, yes, I know that you have found the answer, but still, for the demonstration sake, let me complete it. Packet is ready. Packet goes to the switch, goes to the router, and then there is a trouble. All right, what is the trouble? We'll consult with this packet. It says the routing table does not have a route to the destination IP address. Which is the destination IP address? 192.168.1.2. Why is it not having routing table? We'll consult with this router. Why are you not having? What is your trouble? So I go for show IP route. It says, sir, I know only about 2, 3, and 4. I do not know about 1. Why? We haven't told this router about the existence of 1.0. Very similar to the way we have educated the other router. We'll give a static routing here. For that, I go to configuration. I give IP mm, IP route 192.168. 1.0 is the target network. I'm sorry for the type. 1.0 with the mask. And what is the exit interface? This router also has got the exit interface of serial 20, right? We'll see whether that has been included. Yes. So static route has been included. Now let's see whether this fellow is going to be successful. Seems to be okay. Okay, there is a trouble. That's because of ARP. Don't worry. I haven't spoken about address resolution protocol, but we'll permit this to go. It goes there. Yes, now things seems to be okay. All right. So you got the first response. Now I go to the real time. It gets all the reply. Now it's done. All right. Now we are able to ping from end to end. So instead of doing all these things, I can even go for this kind of thing, whether it is successful. Yes, it's successful from here to here. Yeah, it's working well. Randomly from here to here, is it working? Yeah, it's perfect so far, so good. Maybe this fellow to this fellow. Any idea? Yeah, it's okay. Some random here to here, it was already working. All right. So now this is the reason for learning about the routing protocol concepts, right? So we are going to talk about. Please forgive me if I take another 2-3 minutes because I lost some 10 minutes initially. That's my mistake. So I'll go for another 3 minutes. Please bear with me. So when you talk about this routing protocol, I have demonstrated using the static routing, which doesn't come under dynamic routing protocol as well. Uh, this also does not have any routing algorithms running. This is given by us. I have only configured it. It understands. That's all, right? But when you talk about the dynamic routing protocols, we want them to land the route by themselves, right? For that, we run some algorithm. For example, in OSPF, we have got Dijkstra shortest path algorithm. For distance vector routing protocol, we have got Bellman-Ford algorithm. Even we have got reverse distributed Bellman-Ford algorithm, advanced version. All right. So any of the dynamic routing protocols are normally coming under two major categories. One is distance vector routing protocol, your RIP protocol, RIP version 1, RIP version 2, EHRP, IGRP, all of them they come under distance vector routing protocol. All right. We also have got link state routing protocol, LSRP. All right. So your OSPF, um, ISIS, right? So these are the protocols which are coming under link state routing protocol. So these two major classifications we are going to learn with the sample calculation and the algorithm before we get into hybrid and the border gateway protocol. All right. So that will bring an end to the network layer as well. All right. So hope you enjoyed the session today. So if at all you have got any doubt, don't hesitate to stop me and ping me at any time. All right, you can call me up, you can send WhatsApp message. All right, so probably from the next class, we'll start concentrating on OSPF algorithm as well as DVRP algorithms, right? So now I stop sharing.